Hello everyone, it is Venus Brown. I am back again to do a reaction and recap of another episode of Derry Girls. This is season 2, episode 3.
You're overreacting, Dad.
Overreacting? That lad's got no trousers on, for Christ's sake.
He has a great set of pins on him, doesn't he?
God's sake, will you close that window? We're foundered here.
I need air, Mary. Have 5 layers on me.
5 layers? What are you trying to do? Change race?
Give us a going over with the hairdryer, will you?
Indeed I will not. I've enough to be asked.
Why do they keep touching themselves?
Because they're artists, Grandad.
Dirty English bastards is what they are. Oh, no offence, son.
The SDLP leader John Hume has again called for cross-party peace talks.
John's really dying for peace, like, isn't he? It's all he ever goes on about. I hope it works out for him.
I sort of hope it works out for all of us there.
Come on, girls. Time to hit the road here. Have they roped you into going as well, son?
Rope John? Hardly. He's riding Gary Barlow.
I'm not. I just respect him as a songwriter, that's all.
I did on James, so we do.
Well, we need our passports, Jerry.
For Belfast, I don't think so, love.
Belfast?
We're not about early, Daddy.
2-hour drive with traffic, love.
This thing's in Belfast?
It's 8 hours till the door's open.
I know, we're cutting it fine.
Belfast? Sure, why don't you just sell away and say the white slavery and be done with it?
Jerry, I'll be with them, Dad.
Well, that's worse. So they hid his kind there.
My kind.
Pricks.
That is enough. We're going to the concert, Dad. And that's the end of the matter.
Finally panic at Belfast Zoo today when a polar bear escaped from its enclosure. The RUC have launched a widespread search and have warned residents in the local area to be extra.
Now will you see sense?
Ay, Grandad, because an escaped polar bear's going to track us down and kill us. Stuff mommy's bothered by that. If you don't let Aaron go, then our mads won't let us go.
Well, neither they should. And I'd be ringing them to say as much.
Oh, brilliant!
I hate my life.
Look, girls, I know how much you were looking forward to seeing this and that.
Take that.
But there'll be other concerts.
No, there won't. The fact that this one's happening is a miracle. Nobody good ever comes here because we keep killing each other.
Polar bear's not the one stopping us going to the concert. It's our mothers. And we'll never get them to change their minds.
We're not going to try and change their minds. We're going to do something else.
What?
Lay your holes off. Vodka. You brought an entire suitcase full of vodka.
No.
There's mixers as well, not a savage. You can mix vodka with cider, right? I am boiling. Is there any wonder, Claire? What are you doing? Yeah, you look like a fucking provo.
Look, I don't want anyone recognising me, okay?
No one's gonna recognise you, Claire.
Claire Devlin, is that you?
Jesus Christ.
Relax, Claire. It's the weekend. She has no authority over us at the weekend. She has no right to question us. And if she tries to, I'll tell her as much.
Morning, girls.
Where's Sister Michael?
What takes you to Belfast?
I'm not really sure that...
Speak up.
I'm not really sure that that's any of your business.
I'm going to assume that was an ill-judged attempt at humour, Miss Gwyn.
Yes.
Now answer the question.
You're going to the museum?
Which museum?
Ulster Museum.
What for?
A project, the history project.
What about?
Ulster?
It seems they've managed some quick thinking, which doesn't seem to be the usual for this group, at least from what I've observed. Pretty good. I'm impressed.
Reading her book. Now she's looking at the woman beside her. Now she's getting up. Now she's coming this way. Now she's standing right in front of us.
What's she doing?
Now she's...
Stop talking, James.
I want to sit here.
What? Why?
Well, you're just such wonderful company, girls, what with your stimulating conversation and razor-sharp wit.
Really?
No, not really. The woman next to me is eating an egg and onion sandwich, and the smell of it is enough to turn an orange march. Christ, but this is heavy.
Sister, no, let me.
What do you have in here, girls?
It's not ours.
Not yours?
We have never seen it before in our lives, have we, girls?
Never.
Excuse me, everyone. Can I have your attention, please? Does anyone own this red suitcase? No. Now, let me be clear. No one can claim this bag. Is that correct? I think we have a code red in our hands. Driver, pull over.
Yeah, I had a
This isn't
feeling
great.
as soon as they said
That
it
big a
wasn't
deal. They're
theirs.
about to blow up an entire suitcase of vodka now. I know. Animals.
Why is this place so mental?
That's enough, James. You serious fucking anger management issues. Do you know that?
Bravo, this is
31 Alpha, over.
I hear you, over. All clear here, over.
Roger, let's back it up, over.
Careful smell of vodka down here, over.
Vodka, did you say? Interesting.
Yeah, you cannot say that. What? They're called travellers now. You can't say gypsy anymore. It's insulting.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Really? Who are they?
They're just people, James. They're just people exactly like us.
Except different.
Yes. No.
That's actually racist, Orla.
No, it's not. They are different. They're not. Well, they live in caravans for a start.
Oh, I wish I lived in a caravan.
Hi, me too. Caravans are class. Can everybody stop being so racist, please?
I'm a bit scared of them. Is that racist?
Yes.
Very much so.
Is gypsy even a race? Traveller.
Oh, you go.
Hey, hold on.
What does he want?
I don't know.
I'm talking to you.
Just walk on.
Look at Orla.
What?
Back off, you heard me. I'm not messing around with this thing.
What do you mean you know harm, sir?
Seriously, Claire, this third thing, just pack it on.
Why are you being so weird?
Why did you chase us?
Because I dropped this.
It's my purse.
We have huge respect for you and your people. You've such a strong sense of community and such wonderful traditional values.
These lads following you girls.
Yes, they are. They're fucking madmen. They're gonna kill us.
Please.
Jump in.
Well, they've got a ride.
We totally said.
Never actually met them, Rita. Check that.
No, I can't stand them if I'm being honest, but the fans are so sick they'll be any age, shite, present company included.
I think you mean excluded.
No, I don't.
I see.
Pop music isn't really my thing, truth be told. It's also fucking soulless now. I'm a classical head all the way, but I've been banned from trading the
Alcoholic beer. While driving?
What are we gonna do?
I don't know, just fucking mental.
He's got Bobby rolling every single t-shirt.
What?
How are we gonna break the turn?
That's what you're worried about, Claire. At this very second, that's what's concerning you. A spelling mistake.
I find it disturbing, Aaron.
Tell you what, girls, I don't believe in God, but see if I did.
She's lost the plot.
That's what he would sound like.
We should have took our chances with the gypsies. Travellers! Jesus Christ! What was that?
We hit something.
Oh my God! It's the polar bear!
That's not a polar bear.
Just put my hand on his hole! Fuck this! That just meant James Stewart, the lazy bastard!
Where is James?
Shut the fuck up! Okay. So, as far as I can make out, you think you left this James character with the gypsies?
Travellers.
The small annoying one thinks we should go back for him because...
They were so angry with us, he could be in real danger, Rita.
And the mouthy curly one thinks we shouldn't because...
Because he's a dickhead, Rita.
See, it's tricky.
Oh, come on, Michelle.
If we go back for him, we're going to miss the start of the concert. And he's your cousin. He hasn't lost a cousin or two in their time.
Okay. So, who agrees with Tiny Tears? Who thinks we should go back?
Orla.
I like James. I like take that more.
Make a fucking decision. Have t-shirts to flow.
Come on, Kieran. It's take that we're talking about. I know, it's just... You said it yourself, Aaron. The Greats don't come here. We never got to see Bros. New Kids on the Block. Right said Fred. Let's not add take that to that list. We can't turn back. There's too much at stake. James has the tickets. Shit!
Despite John Hume's optimism earlier.
Margot Murphy's niece saw him just outside the Abracadabra in Coleraine, apparently.
That close. I'll get the holy water.
Sarah, buzz Michelle's mother there. Tell her we need our wains back.
I will surely, Daddy.
Then we'll barricade the front door. And if the worst comes to the worst,
it comes.
Jim across the road lent me his tranquilizer gun.
He's picking up.
Why does Jim across the road have a tranquilizer gun?
His brother had an awful lot of bother with devil worshippers.
Excuse me?
Aye, they set up camp on his farm and he couldn't shift them for love nor money. So Jim bought a couple of guns and just...
What? Shot them?
Aye, I think it worked, you know.
I imagine it would, yeah.
I'm not convinced they were devil worshippers, you know.
Sure, their hair had never seen a brush and they were head to toe and tie-dye, Mary.
Jesus Christ.
It's an evil bastard, Deirdre.
Look, I just want to get my two back home if that's all right, Mary.
Same here. You wouldn't mind getting Claire for me?
What are you talking about?
Listen.
A polar bear that escaped from Belfast Zoo this morning has been recaptured. A group of firefighters who were helping with the search discovered the animal close to the A6 between Belfast and Londonderry, feasting on a sheep carcass.
Oh, thank God for that.
On their sheep carcass.
Better leave Jim's gun back, so.
Good old James. You might try too hard. but I think he's a gay kid.
What are you playing at? Get in the van, fucko!
You don't have to if you don't want to, James.
With all due respect, this has got nothing to do with you.
The way you treat this fella is disgraceful.
What is going on, James?
John joined the lads. Well, they just get me. And it turns out I'm a really good salesman.
That's a natural.
So what, you're a gypsy now?
Traveller! Actually, gypsy's fine.
I knew it. Let's get a move on! Right, get in the van, come on. And do not test me, because we've really missed PJ and Duncan. Is that who was supporting the guy? Oh, I really like them!
I'm not leaving, Michelle.
Not even for Gary Barlow.
I don't really rate him as a songwriter, you know.
I'm sorry, John. He's just crossed the line there.
She just needs some cold hard proof they went to that concert. And then, by Christ, they won't know what's hit them.
If they got there late, they didn't get there that late. Just laughing. That was hilarious. Oh my god. Alright everybody, that was season 2, episode 3 of Derry Girls. Another hilarious episode. So this one, the kids want to go to a concert, one of the first concerts they were able to go to, because you know who really wants to perform a concert in basically a war zone. So it's going to occur in Belfast, and they have to get, they got to get somebody to drive them there and get permission and all of that, and things are looking up and looking okay until there is a polar bear escape in Belfast, and they realize that the parents are just not going to go along with that. I wanted to make a point. One of the songs that played on a previous episode, the original show actually presented Madonna's Like a Prayer, but for the Netflix version, which is what I have access to, so they have this song called Pray. I decided to look it up because the video that Grandpa is watching on this episode is from that video. So I am planning to put the link for that video into the description on this reaction recap, so you can look forward to that. Anyway, so their brilliant idea, since they decide that Mom and Dad are never going to agree to this, that their parents are just not going to agree with it, especially with the polar bear loose, they decide they're just going to lie. Tell some of the parents that they're going to their other friend's house, tell these parents, whatever, just lie, and hope that they don't get caught. Which is kind of funny, because Erin's always talking about how Mary catches everything, like she's like able to notice everything even if they're not guilty of something. So it's interesting that they keep doing stuff like this even though they have this understanding that they're likely to get caught. So they decide to take the bus, and of course Sister Michael shows up. At first Sister Michael goes back where she originally is sitting, and apparently the lady that is next to her has, I think it was an egg and onion sandwich, which has, of course, very overwhelming aroma, and she did not want to deal with that. So she goes up to the kids and tells them she's going to sit in this seat in front of them, and she grabs the bag that Michelle had put on there with alcohol and mixers in it, and it immediately notices that it's very heavy, and to try to get her off their track, the kids all insist that they've never seen this suitcase before. They don't know who it belongs to. And yeah, as soon as they started doing that, as soon as Sister Michael started to ask about, like, you're sure you've never seen this before, I was pretty sure that it was going to cause something like what happened, which is kind of a bomb scare kind of thing. And so, yeah, bus gets stopped. They do this whole thing and end up blowing a hole in the suitcase to find out if it's, you know, gonna detonate, because I don't know, they made this comment about walking to the concert or whatever, and that Belfast isn't that big, but gosh, even if you're in a small rural area and you are trying to get someplace, like, it usually will take a considerable amount of time. But if you're trying to go to a city, I would think that would be very, very time consuming. So I'm not sure exactly what they were thinking, just thinking with teenage brains that are not fully comprehending everything that's going on, I guess. They see a group of travelers. Okay, so then they have this whole conversation about whether you can call them gypsies or travelers, and whether that's racist, and whether a variety of other things are racist. And yeah, they were like arguing about, you know, the fact that they're different, you know, is saying that they're different racist, which I think pointing out people's differences is not necessarily racist. But then when James was like, well, I'm scared, is that racist? I'm like, yeah, that's definitely racist, because those ideas are brought about usually by media and misinformed ideas, just by trying to present this image of a group of people that you don't necessarily identify with as being scary or violent. We have a lot of problems like this with our media in America, and for the most part those representations are not true, and they're no more true than they are for any other group of people. But also it's presented so heavily that people that are not part of that group may grow to think that way or understand that to be true when it isn't. And sometimes even people within the group start to listen and believe this stuff. They get up to the travelers, and they don't know how to react, because they have certain misinformed ideas about them, and they're afraid of them, because a lot of us are afraid of things and people that we don't know and don't understand. Even if a person like Claire is trying to be kind and supportive and thoughtful and considerate, there's still these things that you're presented with over and over again. Even if you're trying not to be racist, you can do and say things that are racist, even if you have no intention of doing that. They get up to where these people are, and it seems like they're chasing them, and so the kids start running, and I thought it was so hilarious. Orla is in the back, and she looks like she is having the time of her life. She's just totally enjoying herself. That just cracked me up so much. But yeah, as they get closer, it looks like they're getting more demanding, and they're chasing after them harder, and the teenagers are getting scared, and then Aaron, I think, turns around and starts prodding them with a stick and telling them to back off, and it turns out that the guy at the lead of the group that was running after them had picked up Claire's purse that she had dropped, and he was trying to get it back to them. And yeah, that was something. Well, then somebody drives by them and asks them if they're okay, and they're of course still freaked out, so they're yelling that, oh my god, they're going to try to kill us, which we know is a total exaggeration and a bunch of nonsense, and especially after they were trying to act like everything was okay before. The lady that's driving by, she offers to give them a ride, and I did take a closer look the second time around to see what happened with James, and it does show him running up to the van, but it never shows any of them actually get in, I don't think, and so I am assuming that he just never quite got to an open door or a door where he could get in, and he got stranded with the travelers. So this lady, she picks them up, and she's a little different. She has, she's got some character. It reminds me a little bit of Michelle, honestly. And but she's also drinking and driving. And Claire is in the back of the van, and she sees all these shirts that the lady is going to be selling at that concert they're going to, but they're all misspelled. So instead of spelling Robbie's name Robbie, it was spelled Roby, and which Claire was like, really, like, what on earth? This is not right. This is crazy. And then they start talking about the music, and the driver doesn't like the band, doesn't like that kind of music, says that pop music is soulless, and turns out she really likes classical music. And so then they show her in this scene, like, just drinking beers and going all emotional about classical music, and Erin's trying to tell her to watch the road, and then she hits an animal, and they go out there, and it's so hilarious. Orla thinks the animal is the missing polar bear, and they go out there to look at the animal, and it is a sheep, and I'm like, that is not a polar bear. And later on, the sheep shows up on the news, because they're like, the polar bear was located when it was feeding off the carcass of this sheep, or feeding off the sheep carcass. So that was something. They go to try to get this sheep out of the road, and that was all very disgusting. Michelle's just like, oh yeah. Well, I won't even repeat it. If you watched it, you saw it. But oh my gosh! And then it wasn't until they are getting grossed out by this sheep and wondering, and thinking that they could have gotten James to help them with it, that they realize that James is not there. And Claire's like, where is James? And they figure out that he's missing, that they left him with the gypsies or travelers. And they go and beg this lady to drive them over to where the travelers are, and they're going back and forth between, do we go to this concert because we're not going to have another opportunity like this, or do we go back and get James? I mean, and for me, it would have been like, no question, you go and get James. Even if you treat James like crap, he's still your friend, and he's still somebody you should care about, and he is a person that needs to be picked up. And yeah, like, that would have just been a given. They finally decide they're gonna go ahead and get James, because James has the tickets. They're not getting to the concert without James anyway. And they get over there, and good old James has kind of befriended these travelers, and he's helping them out because they say, well, he's quite the good salesman. And my husband had to be kind of like, have this pessimistic view about it. Oh, well, that's because they're getting free they're getting free labor from him, but I'm like, I freaking help people when I see that they need help. If I'm at an event, even if I am not part of it or didn't sign up for it and I'm around, I usually will help them out, and I'm not asking for money or anything. So to me, that's just a bad way of looking at it. But I mean, who knows? Maybe. I mean, you are sort of getting free labor, but any kind of volunteer work, you are getting free labor. Let's really give some appreciation to those volunteers that volunteer to help out with other things, because that is free labor. Funny thing though, when they start talking about musicians or whatever, the one traveler says that that he doesn't really like the writing of a certain music writer, and James is like immediately like, oh no, you've crossed the line. I just like, he just immediately drops everything and goes back to them because he said he didn't really respect the guy's musical writing. So yeah. All right. And then we're back over at the house, and they are they're kind of listening to various news things, and Grandpa comes in and says that this polar bear's been spotted like very close by, and then they start talking about a gun, that somebody used a gun to get rid of some situation or stop some situation. And then the next thing you know, Grandpa's in there with a gun pointing it straight at Jerry. And then every time somebody knocks on the door, he's turning around and pointing it at them. The parents eventually are like, they eventually figure out, because they were told various things that were different from their kids, that the kids lied through their teeth, and so of course they're probably going to get in trouble. But then they're like, they're talking together about, well, how, we've got to like prove beyond a reasonable doubt what is happening. And as they're saying that, Jerry is watching TV and sees them on TV at the concert. Like, there is your proof. And Jerry just starts laughing about it. And I thought that was great. I thought it was great because it's, for me, it felt like Jerry was having a little laugh, because he's like, look, we're in this situation, but our kids got to actually do this thing, which is fun, which would be unexpected in this situation, which they usually wouldn't be able to do. And they're having fun and they're enjoying themselves. What more could you ask for in a situation like that? That's kind of how I saw it. But, yeah. Just another funny episode. Everyone, thank you for joining me. Bye.